My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Ready? Play.
With Team Gasquet, potentially, Rafa, and we don't know how many more years Novak will be on tour. Is there a player that you really want to play before they finish?
Yeah, sure. Novak Djokovic.
You want to play? Is there a player that you really want to play before they finish?
Yeah, sure. Novak Djokovic.
Before they finish?
Yeah, sure. Novak Djokovic. Yeah, sure. Novak Djokovic.
You want to play?
Ready? Play.
Hey, welcome everyone to day 3 of the Australian Open on Talking Tennis. Coverage is going to start in about an hour, so we're just going to go over some of the matches maybe from last night, what we're looking forward to today. And today to start, I think we're all going to talk a little bit about some tennis romance stuff, and by that I do not mean tennis relationship romance. I mean romantic stories from the tennis world that we all personally love. I'll go first. I was thinking about it for a few minutes backstage. I know that some people think that I would talk about Andy Roddick not winning Wimbledon as many times as he didn't win it. But actually what I was thinking of was when Federer came back in 2017, I think, and won the Australian Open after a long hiatus away from not playing but winning. There were some injuries, and I think everyone thought, you know, him being the oldest player on the tour at that time, he was kind of done, and he came back, won the Australian Open that year, and then won Wimbledon the same year. And I believe he didn't drop a set the entirety of Wimbledon that season. And that was a big moment for me personally. I was romanced by it. Does anyone, Ashley, do you want to say something?
Ooh. I don't know if I want to share any nightmare stories from tennis, because that's just going to turn into a whole therapy session.
Don't we all
I
have
will
so
say,
many matches that we wish had gone differently? Like, we could do this for ages.
Yeah, 2019 Australian Open men's final comes to mind for one of those nightmare. That one was pretty bad for as a Rafa fan, but as a dream, tennis dream or something that I'm romantic about was tennis, but really is like the entirety of the 2017 Australian Open. I mean, we got Serena Williams and Venus Williams in the final. We had Rafa and Roger in the final. I mean, that just tournament was just so full of like feel good stories that, like, if that was like your first time watching tennis, I can understand why you got hooked. It was like, it kind of revived my love for tennis. I was kind of in and out, and then I watched that entire tournament and stayed up way later than a 17-year-old junior in high school should. But that's probably the whole 2017 Australian Open. It's that tournament for me.
Same, girl. At Rachel or Fergus?
Do you want to go? I've got one. Okay, you go.
Go on, no, you go.
Okay. 2013, Murray winning Wimbledon
Of course.
Probably a pretty standard response for a British person. That's probably the earliest memory I have, apart from I remember very briefly watching the 2012 final when he lost to Federer. Like, very briefly remember that. I would have only been 7 when that was going on. So And then the 2013 final, I remember very clearly watching, and that was obviously a just peak moment for British tennis right there until he won it again 3 years later. But yeah, great moment for Murray and the whole of British tennis.
I think mine's got to be when Kokkinakis and Kyrgios won the Australian Open doubles. What year was that? 2022? Yeah.
It was the same year Nadal won 5-setter against Medvedev.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that springs to mind. So, yeah, in terms of like Nick as a person as well, watching him on Breakpoint, the Netflix series, you can feel how, passionate he felt about that win. So, yeah, that's definitely mine.
All good ones. Tennis nightmares. I don't have. I mean, I guess I have a few. But like I don't even want to talk about them. Wimbledon 2019. I don't even want to go there.
It's going to turn into like a whole therapy session.
Yeah,
it really
we
is.
could spend the entire hour just talking
we
about
got
games that we wish went so differently.
We've got so many. I did think of another one as you all were talking, though. This purely because at the particular time, this was the U.S. Open 2019. No, sorry, not 2019. 2015, I believe. 2015 U.S. Open when Roberta Vecchi got through to the final. That was quite a romantic moment for me. I was studying Italian in college at the time, and my entire Italian class got together to watch that final because it was an all-Italian women's final. That was pretty lovely. Sad for Serena, I know, but Vinci, thank you, Roberta Vinci. I knew I said it wrong. It's been a long time. It's been like 10 years.
Literally 10 years.
Yeah.
Quite literally. Yeah, there's so many. We could devote an entire episode to both romantic stories and nightmares.
I have one nightmare that I feel like Medvedev is in a hole.
Medvedev as a person.
As a person is a real struggle in slam finals, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's tough. If you're a Medvedev fan, I mean, watching last year's AO, especially the Rafa, I mean, 40 to break, and I mean, game over essentially. I mean, it's rough as a Medvedev fan. I think that's probably the biggest nightmare you could have in tennis, to be honest.
I'd also add Maria Sakkari to that list as well. She just doesn't win anything anymore.
Full stop. She doesn't
win
anything.
Stop. Doesn't. No.
I mean, she's my favorite player as well, so that's tough to say, but come on.
Understandable. Well, let's look over some of the things we might have missed for those of us who are not on Australia time last night. I stayed up till about 3 or 4 a.m. I don't recommend that for most people, but I didn't have to go to work today, so it was worth it. Here are some things that happened last night. Let's start with the women's. I think the biggest news is Naomi Osaka won her match against Caroline Garcia in 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. I fell asleep during the final set, so I can't tell you what happened. But the first 2 sets were pretty good, in my opinion. Happy about that. Danielle Collins beat Sneager in her opening round match. She played really well in the second set. She just kind of annihilated the poor girl. Mukova won against Podoroska.
Really unfortunate for Vondrousova.
Yeah.
To pull out.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any luck at the moment, which is really unfortunate. But what it did lead to was a 3-hour, 10-minute game with Harriet Dart, who won in a third set tiebreak, which I didn't think Harriet Dart could actually do that. There has been so many close games that she just hasn't been able to get over the line at, and I'm so happy that she finally could get over the line in a close game, especially with what looked like was a really bad injury. So I'm really happy for her that she managed to get over the line and win her match. But yeah,
it's going well for the Brits at the moment. I mean, because Jodie Burrage won, Katie Bolter won. Jack Draper.
Let's talk about Jacob Fernley.
Yes.
Let's move over to that. I watched that match in its entirety. I am not super familiar with Jacob Fernley. If one of the Brits here wants to talk a little bit about him.
Rachel, do you want to go?
He won the junior Wimbledon, the boys singles. I don't remember what year. It must have been recent.
Did he?
But that's, yeah.
I know he's only 23. I think.
He's young.
Yeah.
But that's all I've known him from.
He went through the college system in America. I think it must have been after he won junior Wimbledon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because junior Wimbledon must have been 5 years ago now. So maybe 2020 he won it. He went through the college system, came out of college about in August, then played a bunch of challenges, won 4 challenges in a row, and somehow went from he took a set off Djokovic at Wimbledon in the second round, and then won 4 challenges in a row, made it from 660 something to 98 in the world in 3 months, and then is now playing in his first Grand Slam away from Wimbledon, and played a seriously high level against Kyrgios. Kyrgios was obviously hampered by an injury, but I still think all credit to Fernley. I think he played really well.
Yeah, he really did.
Something about the Brits.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Something about the Brits and Sorry, so sorry. Something about the Brits and TCU. I just noticed that.
Do a lot of
really
Brits go to TCU?
Well, Cam Norrie went to TCU as well.
Mm-hmm.
Norrie, obviously, former number 8, so in the world. So
something
yeah,
about
he went
them
to TCU as well.
Something about them Horned Frogs down in Texas. I looked them up really quickly. I was trying to remember where I heard that name from, and it's TCU. They know how to pull them from everywhere down there. So
yeah,
I
there
think
you go.
What Kyrgios was talking about in his post-match interview, obviously there's been so much chat about Kyrgios coming into the tournament, and he's obviously done a lot of talking, especially about Sinner and stuff like that. But I think it might have been just too early with his ab. It literally, after he hit 2 serves, he was holding his ab, looked like he was struggling, which is really a shame to see, because when Kyrgios is playing like he did towards the back end of that 3rd set, it's super fun to watch, and that's the sort of tennis you want to see when Kyrgios is playing. But I just don't think he was ready, and I think he pushed it out too early. Maybe he could have, but I guess he wanted to play his final home slam, playing singles, I guess.
Yeah, can't say I'm too disappointed in the outcome of that match. But I'll keep that to a minimum.
No, I agree. Obviously, as a Briton, I wanted Fernley to win. I just like watching. I don't like Kyrgios particularly, but I like watching him play because it's quite entertaining.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I wish I could say the same.
Yeah.
So, okay, other matches from last night. Did anyone else watch the Djokovic match last night? Yeah. That first set, I have to say, was really fun. This 19-year-old kid from Stanford, Basaveretti, I was having a lot of fun on Twitter coming up with puns for his name. No one was enjoying it as much as I was. That first set was really, really, really fun for me. That kid is really good. There were a lot of similarities between his game and Djokovic's game. His forehand was just like a rocket. It was really cool. So I definitely am going to keep an eye on him in the next, I would say, like 4 to 5 years. See where he ends up. Djokovic, it is kind of unfortunate at the end of the second set, I think Basaveretti started cramping. It was clearly really bad, like he was just limping around the court trying to return. He did manage to do okay in the next 2 sets, but obviously Djokovic just, super computered his way out of it. But I think a good opening start for this teenager.
The Americans seem like they've got a load of youngsters. Well, America's just seeming to just cycle them through, just cycle players through, and they just seem that they're just so good. I mean, Leonard Tien, I think, plays his first match today, who made the final of the Next Gen ATP finals. He's American. Obviously, Basvaretti. Mickelson beat Tsitsipas. That's a whole nother story.
Well, you know, the thing I saw in Basvaretti that I don't see in a lot of American men is he's not a big server. He had a solid serve, but that was not his only weapon. And that's the problem with men's tennis in America is like it's all about the serve. If you look at Mickelson and Fritz and Shelton, that's all they really have. Fritz is obviously like very talented. I like him a lot. I'm not saying he's only good at his serve, but like he's a big server. That's a strength in American men that doesn't necessarily get them to that next level. But this kid I saw, he had a lot to work with. So it gave me some hope for like the next gen or whatever we're at now with American players. Lots to look forward to for sure.
His return was also, I watched it back. I did not stay up and watch it. But I saw that his return positioning, especially in that first set, really helped them stay competitive within like the first like 1.5 sets. And like there are very few Americans that are like American men, sorry, that are good returners. They are very much like those serve +1 serve bots. So it was nice to see someone take some time and really work on their return and positioning and try to give their opponent different looks from what I saw when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, definitely.
Murray off to a winning start as a coach. Obviously, as a first round opponents for Djokovic, I guess. Well, on paper, it doesn't get much easier, to be honest. But, you know, still good to see those two playing, coaching and playing together.
I'd be interested to see what, not that this wasn't a real challenge for Djokovic, but this seemed pretty standard for him. Someone he hasn't played before. He takes a set to figure out how to beat them, and then he beats them pretty handily. I would be curious to see what Murray would say or what his sort of method would be against, you know, once we're maybe in like fourth round of 16, where the sort of real challenge might kind of present itself.
I think he'll only get more scrutinized as he goes through the rounds. So as you say, if he gets to like round of 16 and he's like got, I don't know who we would have in round of 16 off the top of my head, but say he's got like Musetti or something like that, someone that poses a real threat. I think it'll be very interesting to see what Murray's got to add. If Djokovic starts ranting in the corner of the court, if Murray can either calm him down or get him to play better tennis, it'll be very interesting.
All right, well, some matches today that I'm keeping an eye on the men's side. We can talk a little bit about. I think the first one on my list is the Nori Berrettini match.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I've done a lot of talking, so I'll let someone else talk.
I think it'll be interesting because obviously,
no, go ahead.
Cam Nori and Berrettini have similarly fallen off a little bit. Obviously, Berrettini has started to climb back, but I think they're kind of at a similar stage in their career where they want to climb back a little bit. So I think it'll be competitive tennis, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Ashley,
I think the match that
there you go. Sorry,
we mentioned. No, you're good. We mentioned it Saturday. That was the last time I was on here. But Brandon Nakashima versus Ben Shelton. That's in 1573 Arena. So that environment is going to be really fun. Two Americans, two big hitters. Brandon, I think, ended 2024 on a good note. I can't recall.
Oh, he did.
He was.
He got to, I think, fourth round, U.S. Open. Great match against Musetti. That was my favorite match of that tournament. I'm on the Nakashima train, partly because he's from California.
I believe the first time I went to the only time I went to the U.S. Open, I watched Sinner versus Nakashima in Louis Armstrong in 2022. I believe that was the match. That was after the Iga match. And I mean, his ground strokes are so powerful, like live and in person. So I'm really excited for a heavy hitting, a hard hitting contest right there. And plus 1573 arena, that's a really vibrant, arena at the U.S. Open. So I like to hear that environment and see how the crowd reacts to some of the points that they're going to see. It's going to be a show for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, definitely Berrettini and Nori is something that I'm looking at as well, just to see how those two kind of navigate trying to get back on the upswing in their careers as well. They are basically buddies at this point. That's not an exaggeration. They are Vanch and Nakashima are basically buddies.
They're related, aren't they? Aren't they brother and brother? No?
Like they are locked in.
I'm pretty sure Vanch is Brandon Nakashima, actually.
I've never seen them in the same room together.
Yeah, and yet we've never had Brandon on the show. What's going on there?
Crazy.
I think with Nakashima, Shelton obviously didn't end the year on a great note. I think with obviously he went out third round of the US Open to Tiafoe, who obviously made the semi-finals but I can't really remember. He didn't defend his title in Tokyo, so he lost a few points there, dropped out the top 20. So I think it would genuinely be close because Nakashima obviously had a lot of early success when he was really young and then sort of dialed it back a bit. But yeah, I actually think that could probably go to 5 sets if Shelton isn't serving as well as he can.
Yeah, definitely agree. Another match. Actually, I'm looking at the board right now. We have a lot of countrymen matchups today. There's Shelton and Nakashima, Fritz and Brooksby, Arnaldi Musetti, and then the one that I was going to talk about next is Monfils and Peteshi Pericard.
Yes.
That I mean, like everybody else, I think I'm going to be keeping an eye on Pericard this year. It's fun. It's kind of crazy to me. It feels like every 2 years or so, there's like a new player that suddenly has the biggest serve compared to the person who had the biggest serve last year. So like 2 years ago, it was Ben Shelton. And now it's Peteshi Pericard. I'll be keeping it. But I think he actually has some really good ground stroke abilities. So I'll be keeping an eye on that match today. Also, Battle of the Frenchmen. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
It's also always a great show when Monfils is playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially after he won the title in Auckland. I mean, that's just like oldest player ever to win an ATP title. I mean, that's just crazy. 38 and he's still playing this well. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, I love
that's
that
also
for him.
That's pretty big for him as well. 2024 wasn't like the best year for him. So coming out this year, winning a title before a Grand Slam, I'm interested to see how he kind of handles just the momentum that he's starting to get now. And yeah, Giovanni's serve is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. I saw a clip of it the other day and I was like, good thing I didn't play tennis because I wouldn't know what to do if I had to return that.
Yeah. So that's what we've got for the day session. Here, I'm going to just take a quick look at night session for men's side. Some other matches coming up. Oh, yeah. Van de Zandschulp.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, Fonseca Rublev has been what everyone's been talking about as soon as the draw came out. Fonseca obviously just is a very, very, very good young player with loads of power. And Rublev he didn't have the greatest year last year. He got defaulted a couple times as well in a match. Went out first round of Wimbledon. I actually can't remember when he went out in US Open, but
it was early, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he made a deep run, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I actually wouldn't be surprised if Fonseca at least puts up a real fight or even gets past Rublev. But I really hope for Rublev's case, because obviously Fonseca's got loads of time in the bank. I really hope for Rublev's case he gets past and gets something going, because I think he really needs it after a really sort of subdued end to 24.
Yeah, agreed.
Rublev also has trouble with like opponents that can either sort of match his power or like bring more power in like different ways. So I'm interested in seeing how he kind of navigates that, because Fonseca can definitely do that as well. So I'm hoping Rublev finds some sort of momentum. I really do hate it when he like gets like really angry on the court. So I do hope he finds some success so he can kind of get back on track in that regard. So
yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, I read the article. I think everybody saw, at least in the tennis world, where he talked about working with a psychologist and getting off of antidepressants, and that he feels a lot less anxiety. So yeah, I think this tournament will be a real like insight into, is he feeling better?
I think that's really good for him, to be honest. He's such an emotional player. He leaves everything on the court. And that works both for him and against him. So it'll be interesting to see, his behavior on the court tomorrow. Well, tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the thing is, as I was saying, like, he didn't have a great 2024, but he still won the Masters in Madrid. Like, and he beat Alcaraz that week as well. Like, the quality of tennis is definitely there. He is his own worst. He gets in his way sometimes, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, I think he beat Sinner this in 2024 as well.
Yeah, he was the only guy to beat Sinner and Alcaraz in the same year. Yeah. There you go.
Another match that'll be in the night session is the Alex de Minaur and Van de Zandschulp match. I don't think this was an ideal matchup for the Demon, personally. I would be a little scared.
I just don't. As someone else can talk about this, because I have nothing to. Well, I have something to say, but not that anyone else is thinking it. So someone else can.
Like, I mean, it's definitely not the best matchup for de Minaur, but it could certainly get worse for him as a first round matchup. We've seen worse for him for a first round matchup. I do think he's going to be pushed. I think de Minaur, there are very few matches where I've seen de Minaur like win in like straight sets or win comfortably. So I do think this is going to be very tough for him because of just the style of that Van de Zandschulp plays. But yeah, I mean, yikes. As an 8 seed, yikes.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It won't be the easiest for him. But I do think he'll win. I just don't think it'll be a straight set victory.
If Alex plays his best tennis, as we've seen, I mean, it's tough because I'm just looking at the like stats here, and he's predicted 90% like to win in 3 sets, which is easier said than done, of course, but you never know.
I mean, Van de Zandschulp just obviously played at a crazy level for 2.5 hours against Alcaraz at the US Open, and it was like, I saw this like one guy on Twitter say like before the matchup, he was like, guys, actually watch out for Van de Zandschulp, and everyone was like, what do you mean, it's Alcaraz, like don't be silly. And then obviously won in straight sets, and everyone was like, that's crazy, where's this level come from? Like, as you say, it's tricky, but for de Minaur's sake, is his home slams the only slam he hasn't been to the quarterfinals of. So I really hope for his sake that he gets to the quarters. But yeah, obviously he has to get through Van der Sandstall first.
I think I have him getting through in my bracket. I believe I have him getting to the quarterfinals. I'm just checking as to who I had him going out to.
I think I have him reaching the quarterfinals as well in my bracket.
Oh, yes. I have him going out to Sinner.
Oh, well, yeah.
In the quarters. But that even if he does go out to Sinner, like, who wouldn't? You know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the performance you have to put in to win a set, even against Yannick Sinner at the moment, is something that is quite ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, the only player who can do it is Alcaraz.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
At least Alex won't have to meet Djokovic in this particular draw, because I do feel he's gotten unlucky in quite a few where he has the potential to get either to the quarters or the semis, and then he meets Djokovic and it's all over.
I think the thing is with de Minaur is that when he plays someone like Sinner, is that his serve is his biggest weakness, obviously, which it's been like that for his entire career. And I think Sinner is someone that literally just jumps on that train so well and just takes it apart too much for de Minaur to cope, which is really unfortunate because I don't think there's much. I mean, he's been working really hard to obviously put a bit more on his first serve, but it's not as big as he needs it to be if he wants to be right at the top, in a sense, with Sinner and Zverev and Alcaraz.
Any other matches anyone is looking forward to on the men's side today before I move on to women's?
I think Bautista Agut and Shapovalov will be interesting.
Yeah.
And also Stan Wawrinka's playing as well.
Yes, he's playing
again for some reason.
Sonego?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Which actually could get interesting, to be honest.
100%.
Sonego's someone that you don't entirely know what's going to come out on the court. So, how old's Wawrinka now? Is he 40 now?
Oh, I don't think so.
I've lost count.
Yeah, he's in tennis years. He's on the older side, I would say. Well, yeah,
he's 39.
39. So
yeah.
you know, like he's getting there. But I still think he might have the quality to even get past Sonego. Well, hopefully, I hope for Stan's sake because I like Wawrinka.
Yeah, I like him too, and he's won the tournament before.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, another tennis nightmare for me.
Stan Wawrinka's whole career, or just that particular final?
No, I like Stan. Hold on. Just that final. That
was that Djokovic in that final?
That was Nadal.
That was Nadal.
Yeah.
Nadal was injured. He injured himself. He injured himself during warm-ups. I think it was like his abdomen or something. Oh my god, not to zoom in.
That's
I think John is having too much fun backstage.
Yeah. John
that's so heinous. That's so heinous. But yeah, he injured himself during warm-ups and he finished the match instead of withdrawing. And yeah. I mean Stan was playing lights out that entire tournament. I mean, honestly, if anyone deserves a title, it's Stan at that particular tournament. But man, it really sucked when Nadal got injured, because if Nadal wasn't injured, that could have been a generational final, up there, if Nadal wasn't injured. So yeah, Anyway, we got sidetracked. I'm sorry.
Sorry. There is one more match that I think could get quite interesting on the men's side, which is Hurkacz versus Griekspoor. Hurkacz obviously was out for a big portion of was out for the whole of the end of last season after Tokyo. So he missed Shanghai and then Paris. And obviously coming back this year, he played at the United Cup and won 2, lost 3. But those 2 matches were matches that you'd expect a former top 10 player to win. So Griekspoor actually has a 1, or he's 1-0 up in the head-to-head after beating him in Rotterdam last year. So I actually think Griekspoor's style actually counteracts Hurkacz quite well. So I think that could be interesting.
I have not yet forgiven Griekspoor for losing to Zverev in the French Open. So I will
another
firmly on Hurkacz's side.
This is just going to keep
coming. I mean, honestly, anytime Zverev steps on the court is a tennis nightmare. Like, let's just be real here. Like,
wasn't he up a double break in that final set?
Yeah.
It was like 5.
Yes, he was.
It was 5-2. It was 5-2 in the final. I was like, because I was watching it, and when he got the break, and I was like, okay, right, this is done. Like, cool. And then I turned it on like 20 minutes later, and it was still going. I was like, how? What? Why?
Yeah. I was driving across Nevada when that match was going on, and I was listening to it, and it ruined my whole trip. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, lots of good matches today on the men's side. I'm going to switch over to my women's list here. Okay.
John's still having fun in the background.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
He put up my tweet earlier when I was like slamming Nick Kyrgios for losing, and I was like, y'all don't take me seriously on Twitter. I just be saying stuff for real.
Yeah,
like,
he was posting my Basaveretti puns as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's dangerous what we put out on Twitter because John will use it against us later.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and go over to the women's side. Some matches I'm looking at just right off the bat. I see Emma Navarro is playing Peyton Stearns. That should be fun. I don't think I have Emma going too far in this tournament. Any thoughts?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, that one's an interesting. Yeah, I don't think Emma's going that far. But this one's like really interesting for me in terms of like where Emma's level is. I don't think she really ended 2024 on a great note, and I don't think she started this year on a great note either. But she's also, I think she's 4-1 against Peyton Stearns. But Peyton also likes those big matches. Whether she closes them out is a different story, but she does like those big matches. So I'm interested in seeing who actually like shows up and puts their money where their mouth is, and does what they need to do to move on to the second round. But that's been the popcorn match that everybody's talking about.
We were talking about this on our day one preview about Stearns Navarro and how Stearns loves a big match but just never quite seems to get over the line. But Carson, who was on that day, said he's got, you guys saying that you haven't got Navarro to go that far. Carson has Navarro to get to the final.
Interesting.
Yes.
Which was a very popular choice. Not many people were sticking their hand up saying, oh yeah, I agree. And I can't say
I was just shocked. I think you posted the screen grab, but I went like this. I was just shocked.
Yeah. That's when...
I think I have her going to the quarters and going out to Iga. I think is the farthest I have her going, which is like pretty generous, I think.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I think I sorry, you go.
No, you have the floor, Mr. Fergus. You have the floor. Because I said what I needed to say.
I made this comparison on day one, that Stearns and Kokkinakis I feel like in my head are quite similar with how they both have really strong games, how they have good serves, a huge forehand, and they play well in the big matches, but they never seem to put any sort of run together to really boost them up the rankings, which is really unfortunate because I actually like both Kokkinakis and Stearns' games. I think they're really nice to watch.
Yeah, another tennis nightmare. Kokkinakis not closing out against Murray. Like that was.
Oh my god!
I was like,
I remember watching that match.
It was a crazy match.
That was so.
I was like,
I remember. It was just crazy.
I just remember like going like I went from like I want Kokkinakis to win to like I'm like please God just somebody win at this point, like I gotta go to class. Like
just end the match. Just end the match.
I think I stayed up to watch like the opening set of that match, and then I fell asleep and I woke up at like 7 a.m. or something, and it was still on, and I was like, what's going on? Are they okay?
I was quite literally like I think I spent the entire fifth set getting ready for class. Like I ate breakfast, I got my hair done, I finished up homework assignment, all before they finished that entire fifth set. I was like, yo, somebody.
It was our time, as in me and Rachel's time. That would have been it was a night match, so it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon here that it finished.
Oh, that's nice.
So like I was actually, because obviously we like all the matches start midnight. You're like thinking when it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon our time, you're like, damn, that is seriously late. It was like 5 a.m. for them in the morning, and then Murray had to play the next day. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah,
Australia is always a bit rough with that sort of thing. All right, looking around bit more. Alexandrova and Raducanu are playing today. I saw some people online saying that their dark horse for the tournament was Raducanu. I'm not a Raducanu hater, so I'm not going to say anything mean, but that doesn't seem plausible to me.
I don't think anyone can be a Raducanu hater because of the pure bad luck she faces.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's always injured. She always has something wrong. She never wins.
Just straight up.
I don't know.
Except for that one time that she won, she never wins.
Yes.
Yeah. Except for that one time that she won.
That one time. I love Emma, don't get me wrong. I love Emma, but yeah, I feel bad.
I feel like it was like a trade. Like, okay, you win the 2021 U.S. Open as a qualifier, so you win 10 matches and get to hold the big trophy. But every tournament after that, you're gonna go through something, and it was like yes or no. So,
Raducanu is such a complicated case. Like, it's so hard to distinguish what's gonna happen next. Last year overall was positive, going from 330 something to 58 in the world. I mean, that's pretty, and playing like 15 tournaments over the year. Like, it shows that she still has the quality to be that top 30 player that she was. But it's just about not getting injured, I guess. Just staying fit is the biggest issue. And with tennis being such an all year round sport, technically, I guess that is the biggest issue for a lot of players.
Yeah, and also I think comparing her to the likes of Sabalenka, you're going to pick Sabalenka every time.
Yeah.
Right now, anyway.
Yeah. You're going to struggle to. She has the quality to compete, and I actually do expect Raducanu to come through. Well, I'd like to think Raducanu comes through this game tonight, not comfortably, but she comes through it because I think she will. But when she comes up against someone like Swiatek or Sabalenka or even Zheng or Goff, then it's a different case, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just having another look through any of the matches today. There's a couple of players I'm not necessarily going to watch their matches today, but I'm keeping an eye on them for the tournament on a whole. And for me, those people are Katie Boulter and Madison Keys. I just kind of feel like they're going to have a good run at the start of the season. Katie, I think, had a really good year in 2024. And I just see something good, maybe a quarterfinal for her, maybe not necessarily at Australia, but sometime this year, I think she'll get to a quarter. Just got a good feeling about it.
From your mouth to God's ears in regards to Madison Keys.
I know.
I've been praying on that for, I don't know, like 4, 5, 6 years.
Since her first US Open final. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is like 7, 8 years. At this point, I'm just giving it up to God.
Yeah. I'm rooting for her more this tournament, partly because she just donated a ton of money to the Los Angeles Fire Department. So obviously I love her for that. She's playing player I don't know very well, On Lee today, another American.
There is so many American matchups.
Yeah, it's true.
Crazy.
There's a lot of American women. Just looking at today's list, it's so many. Anna Sanova, Navarro, Stearns, McNally, Jovic, Kessler, Townsend, Keys, Lee, and I know Pagula is in there somewhere. Got a ton of American women, which I love. Let's get it.
Especially
anyone else have like a dark horse pick for the tournament?
I think Maddie is a safe dark horse pick. She just won a title, so and she's kind of been knocking on that door. I mean, she made, was it the semis in New York last year? I can't remember which one. She went deep. I can't remember which round she got out at.
I think it was the semis.
Yeah, so she's been knocking on the door for a while. Eventually, that door is going to open. So I think Maddie's a safe dark horse pick. I don't know who she would face if she got to like the quarters or around the 16, but I do think I said this a couple days ago, if Maddie plays within herself, she's pretty tough to beat. There's like maybe 4 or 5 players that I can think of that can really beat her on her best day. So
I think Keys was in winning in Adelaide. That's 9 500 titles. Is that or something along those lines? I think if she doesn't make a slam semi-final this year or even a final, I think I'll be surprised. But I would think that she would push for a Masters this season. Hopefully, I think she's definitely got it within her, 100%.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah. I'm doing it. I'm doing it for you guys. That's what I'm doing. I'm just doing it for you guys.
Thank you.
I think Danielle Collins has the possibility to come in from behind.
Oh, wouldn't I love that?
I mean,
just her going like, it would be so great.
But for a retired player, she's doing pretty well.
Yeah, I would love Collins to play Swiatek at some point this year.
Oh, that would be
this year. It doesn't have to be now. Just this year. That would be.
I think if Collins is going to play her and beat her, I think this would be the tournament. These would be the courts to do that. I mean, obviously she came really close at the Olympics, so I think Iga is probably a little bit like wary around her. But I think on a court like this that doesn't suit Iga's style, and obviously Danielle plays great here, with the exception of last year. I think this would be the place for her to finally kind of beat Iga, which I would love. I would love to see Danielle Collins have another deep run I love her so much. I'm just like, ugh.
It's the same as seeing this matchup at some point this year. It's like I also kind of want to see a Sinner Kyrgios matchup at some point this year, just so Sinner can take him to the cleaners and really just shut him up.
I think Jacob did that for us. I
know, but like,
I don't think Sinner needs
he's
to.
just been chomping at the bit. I think it'd be quite funny to see.
No, what Jacob did was like take him to the parking lot of the cleaners. I need like Sinner to drop. Well, I mean like triple bagels, like 6 love, 6 love, 6 love. Like I just need him to pack them up like real bad. But that's never gonna happen because Kyrgios is going to get
triple bagels. If Sinner triple bagels Kyrgios, especially with Kyrgios' serve, that would be a whole nother sort of level.
Just give him a trophy for that.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, and you've already won
just give him all the Grand Slams.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a calendar slam right there.
Tournament after that, and I would not care because he triple bagel Nick Kyrgios with his serve. That's not going to happen, y'all. I'm not thinking that's going to happen. I'm just saying.
Are you not sending that one up to God as well? Are you keeping that one?
God's gonna look at me and be like, "Girl, be serious." So, but there was another dark horse I saw in the chat. I think it was Osaka. I don't know who said it, but that's an interesting one. I'm an Osaka fan, but I like keeping my expectations low, especially since she just came back from giving birth to a child. So, but what are y'all thoughts on Miss Osaka as a dark horse?
I don't think she has.
Go ahead.
I don't think she has the capacity to beat the top players.
I don't 100% agree with that.
I mean, the French Open, you really opened a can of worms here, Ashley. Thanks.
I mean,
you're welcome.
The amount she had Iga on the rails.
I mean, real bad.
That's Iga in. Yeah, that's true.
I think maybe it's just taking longer for her to get to a point where she could really close out against the top players. But I do think that she's showing that she still can.
Oh yeah, 100%. She's still got something in her, but I think right now at this particular tournament, I don't see her winning it.
I don't see her winning it. No.
She's also got a rough draw.
Yeah, she does.
As in, she's got a rough draw.
Muhova in the second round. Yikes.
I mean, Garcia first round. I mean, that's not something you want.
Yeah,
I don't think I had her picked to win that match. I'm quite impressed that she did. So I to me that's a good sign.
I think I was talking to some other friends that I have that are also tennis nerds, and I was like kind of back and forth. I was like, it really just depends on how Osaka handles Garcia's serve, or sorry, not serve, return. And from what I saw from the brief highlights and the third set that I saw, she was doing pretty decently at it. But yeah, did go toe to toe with Garcia, and your prize for doing that is Muhova. It's kind of rough, real rough. So
yeah. Also, I mean, I don't know where her mindset, Naomi's mindset, is at currently. Just because I know she was speaking yesterday, her home is in the middle of all the fires we're having right now in Los Angeles. So there's probably a lot of stress going on in her camp a little bit. I mean, I'm stressed and my house isn't even on fire. So
yeah, as much as I would love to see Naomi hold the trophy for a third time, I just like with her current form, even with her reaching a final last week, I just don't see it, and I think she would have to see Coco and Sabalenka at some point if she were to get to that final, and that's just.
I mean, tough. Garcia, Mukova, and then Sabalenka and Goff. I mean, that's...
I think Bencic is somewhere around in there. So
like... the list goes on. The list really does go on.
I love my sister. I just don't see it for her.
Someone that I do genuinely think could be a dark horse, who you mentioned earlier, Isabel, is actually Katie Bolter. She has a great draw, as in this will be her biggest opportunity to get to a second week of a slam she's ever had. And I think this will be important. To get to that marker of a second week of a slam is something that is a hurdle to overcome. And I genuinely do think she could do it. Obviously, she played so well against Iga in the first match in the United Cup, and she almost took out Iga. That was a great match to watch, but obviously didn't go over the line. But it shows that she's right up there with the quality of those really top ball strikers. And she just hits the ball so hard. It's ridiculous, but they all do, so it doesn't really make a difference.
I'd love to see a Bolter Sabalenka match at some point. That would be really good tennis.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. I also want to see how Rybakina does today with all the coaching stuff. See how she does, but she doesn't seem like she gets phased by much. So I expect her to come through pretty easily.
Does she's get phased by anything.
She's against an Aussie, so we'll see how she handles the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, I think, let's see, it's 4:00. Coverage is just about starting on my side of the world anyway.
It's 4 in the afternoon, I'm guessing, for you guys, not morning. I was about to say that is rough. You're getting up at 4 in the morning.
No, so that's usually when the night matches start, is about 2 or 3 in the morning here. And when I'm not working, it's great. But when I am working, like this week, it's not great. So I end up missing a lot.
It's 7 p.m. here. Night matches typically start around like 3:34. So I'm waking up if the matches are going long. I'm waking up to those matches. But yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for watching our day 3 preview. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, send Talking Tennis to friends of yours who are not tennis fans and who are tennis fans. I've gotten a lot of my friends who don't watch tennis to subscribe to us because they just want to support our weird little hobby. So enjoy day 3 at the Australian Open, and it was nice hanging out with all of you. Adios.
Have fun. Happy tennis watching.
If you